So let's start by having a quick look at the synthesizer engines. The first one is cluster. What cluster is a multi-layered oscillator, and you can see that the parameters, again color coded to match the rotary dials, allow the sounds and the effects to be changed in that unit. As you can see, the number of waves associated with that synth can be adjusted with the blue parameter, and you can see that that can be configured quite easily. And then the wave envelope, all you can see here is the dial change can change to change the timbre, the spread with the white control, and the what's called the uniter with the red. You'll find that some of these parameters are quite quirkily named and can have quite an unusual action, but essentially this is all about tweaking and twiddling and finding a sound rather than understanding what every parameter means, given that the synthesizer engines aren't traditional subtractive or traditional FM type synths where you'd follow the normal oscillator, filter, envelope type approach. So let's have a quick listen to the cluster. The next engine to have a quick look at is the digital, and what you find from digital is that this once selected again looks quite unique, but basically this is a pure digital synthesizer. You've got the blue parameter for wave shaping, the octaves can be changed by using the green parameter, and then detune and ring modulation using white, and then what's called digitalness using the orange. But again, it's all about tweaking and twiddling to get the sound that you want. We'll have a look at the Doctor Wave. Looks quite boring, but once we get into this, you'll see that it does cause some quite powerful and thick sounding timbres. And again, you can adjust the blue parameter for the wavelength, as you can see it breaking up into different elements, and then a filter, as you can see, and here it's affecting the sound. Phase with the white, and then a chorus effect built in using the orange. Moving on, FM. Again, not in the traditional sense, but the FM synthesizer does carry 4 modulators that all interact. The topology is affected with the blue key, frequency with the green, and then the amount can be changed with the white key and detuned using orange. The real power can come into these synthesizers when you start using LFOs and interacting with some of the effects, which I'll show you on a later video. So phase, quick look at phase. The phase synthesizer is a phase distortion unit, and again the colours relate to the controls, so we can affect the phase shift, distortion using green, phase filter, and then a tilt as it's called from orange. And you can see how the parameters are portrayed on the screen. Difficult to associate the sound with the visuals, but it's quite quirky and more interesting when programming the synthesizer. Pulse, another odd but quite interesting synthesizer. This is a pulse train oscillator, and again you can see the effects of the controls for varying things like the filter, amplitude, the second pulse, because it is a dual pulse oscillator, and then the modulation, as you can see. Another quite interesting synthesizer, if we listen to some of the parameters, some of the presets, it does have a very neat sounding timbre to it. Sampler, this is a 6-second sampler which allows you to sample from various locations and then affect the parameters using the controls again in the sampler engine, so you can change the location of the sample, start, loop in, loop out, end for example. And also pressing shift and altering these controls, it gives you extra parameters like forward and reverse, changing the level, and also some of the fine tuning on the loops if you can't get it quite right on the main tuning position. Finally, what you may see in the synthesizer engine display, also on the drum machine, is something called snapshot. That's when you store your own data to recall later, and I'll explain that in a different video.